is the Investor Connect podcast program. This is Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of the show, in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, private equity, family offices, and many other investor groups for startups and growth companies. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's virtual event. I'm Kat Delgado here to host our Family Office Roundtable. Unfortunately, Hall Martin couldn't be here to join us, but that's okay. We're just going to go right into it and talk a little bit about what we do here at 10 Capital Network.
Hello, this is Hall Martin with 10 Capital. We're here today for our next event. And before we jump into it, I'd like to talk more about what 10 Capital does. We help startups and investors connect for funding. And what we do is we help form capital for the early stage entrepreneur ecosystem. For those companies that are raising funding, we help them put together their pitch deck, advise on their fundraise program, help with their strategy, and then make introductions to investors. In short, we provide the legwork, saving you time and money. We've been doing this since 2009 when we originally called Texas Entrepreneurs Network, and we've raised over $900 million of funding for our companies. We also help form capital for the early stage. We help high net worth individuals launch family offices. There's many people that in the $25 to $50 million assets under management space that want to launch family offices, and we have a program with our Family Office Roundtable to do that. We also help VCs find limited partners, mostly family offices. We do monthly dinner events, bringing VCs and family offices together. And then we help angel groups find members. This is a great way for helping individual angels be more successful because they get to share the deal flow and the due diligence with an angel group. We have 4 events that we do online each month. We have a Family Office Roundtable. It's a 2-hour session with topics relevant to those who want to start and run a family office. It's focused primarily after the virtual family office, so we do a lot of discussion about how you set those up. We also run a quick pitch. This is for tech companies. Each company gets 10 minutes to pitch, 5 minutes of Q&A. And we have 4 to 5 companies presenting with breakout rooms afterwards and a panel of investors asking questions and also investors in the audience. And finally, we have the Life Science Syndicate event, which is a monthly meetup where we bring those on the FDA path together to also have a panel of investors and have pitching. And if you want to learn more about our events, just go to 10capital.group, click on the events button, and you'll find out more about us there. If you're a startup and you want to raise funding, just click a picture of that QR code, fill it out, send it to us, and we'll follow up with you to see if our program would be a good fit for your fundraise. We also have our AI chatbot, Ava. Ava is a automated solution that helps people get answers to their questions about startup funding and investing. This comes from our Investor Connect program. We have over 800 interviews with investors, angel, VC, family offices on what they invest and how they invest and what they look for in startups. And we also have a Startup Funding Espresso. The time it takes to drink an espresso, you can learn something about startup funding and investing. And so with that, we've actually built over 2,000 of them. These are 300-word microblog posts, minute-and-a-half audio component, and we put them all in a chat bot. So all you have to do is ask your question, and it gives you the answer. We call it Ava. So let's listen to learn more about that.
Hi there. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ava, your personal AI venture assistant. I'm your new best friend in the world of investing in startups, the 10 Capital AI chatbot. I'm here to make your journey through the startup ecosystem easier, faster, and a lot more fun. Need help finding your next big investment? Or maybe you're a founder looking for fundraising tips? I've got you covered. I pull all my knowledge from over 500 blogs, countless podcasts, and even some nifty calculators, like the How Fundable Is Your Startup tool, to give you the answers you need. So how do I work? Easy. You simply go to where I live on startupfundingespresso.com and look for me in the bottom right. As soon as I appear, go ahead and click on me to let me know you're here. And then there you go. All your questions answered at your fingertips. Whether you're into health tech, biotech, life sciences, or any of the other exciting fields out there, I'm equipped to help you navigate the trends, challenges, and opportunities in each one. Got a question? Just ask. And guess what? I even pull insights from the 10 Capital Network podcast on Investor Connect. It's packed with expert advice, success stories, and more. all designed to help you succeed in the venture capital world. So what are you waiting for? Let's chat. I'm here 24/7 to help you find the right answers, connect with great opportunities, and make the most out of your investments. See you on startupfundingespresso.com.
All right, we can go ahead and introduce our guest speaker today. Ron, do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about South Highland Ventures?
Yeah, sure. No, thank you so much. And first, I'd like to thank 10 Capital for giving South Highland Ventures this opportunity. They're a fantastic partner, and I believe everybody should be looking towards them for leadership when it comes to companies, investors, and growth. What we do is we are a one-stop shop private equity firm where we invest family office and high net worth individual capital into growth companies and opportunities, in particular, investing in companies that are struggling with succession. We're located here in San Antonio, and we have offices in several states, and we have operations all around the world. And look forward to learning more about you, and thanks for having us.
Sorry, I was muted there. With that being said, thank you, Ron. We can go ahead and jump right into the pitches, Lance, if you want to go ahead and share your screen and start.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Great.
you. Hi, I'm Lance Tkach, co-founder of Printed Technologies. As you can see, America has a real problem. We are short 7.3 million affordable homes, and we're only building 1.4 million homes per year, of which less than 10% are focused on affordability. Construction costs are up 30% in just 5 years, and the industry is stuck in the past, and people are struggling to find a place affordable to live. At Printed Technologies, we are solving this problem by disrupting the construction industry. We're doing that by bringing automation, AI, and 3D printing to construction to make it more affordable, sustainable, and scalable. But before I tell you how we can do that, let me tell you how we got here today. Having built several homes myself, I've seen firsthand the inefficiencies in the home construction business. And a few years ago, my family unexpectedly lost their home to mold, or our home to mold. And building the next house took twice as long and went 50% over budget. And at that time, I knew there had to be a better way. To make matters worse, if it's this inefficient and expensive for me, how much more impactful is that to somebody who's struggling to afford a house in the first place? The reality is the system is broken. And when there is a broken system, there's an opportunity for innovation. That's why we built Printed Technologies, to solve a real market failure. Here's my co-founding partner, Craig Pettit, and myself outside of one of our 3D printed homes. My family has been invested with Craig in his residential real estate portfolio for over 30 years. And in 2019, he bought a 3D printer and successfully printed the 7th and 8th 3D printed houses in America. As a third generation owner of a manufacturing company that's highly focused on automation, I became fascinated with this concept. Through my experiences in home building, the inefficiencies were shocking to me. Coming from manufacturing, where efficiency and precision are everything, the lack of these principles in construction were just shocking to me. That frustration sparked an idea. What if we could apply a manufacturing mindset with automation, robotics, and AI to home construction to transform the home construction industry? I shared my vision with Craig, and he immediately saw the potential. We had the perfect combination of expertise, his real estate background and my manufacturing expertise, to tackle one of the world's largest problems, affordable housing. 2023, we made our move. My company, All Metals Fabricating, invested $750,000 to match what Craig had put in up to that point, and we launched Printed Technologies. Our mission is simple: revolutionize construction to make it more affordable, efficient, and sustainable. We're not just building homes, we're manufacturing and selling the machines to help builders everywhere embrace this new technology. So let's understand the opportunity. For over a century, American homes have been built the same way: wood framing and labor-intensive construction. It worked. It's fueled the economy. It created communities to support growing families, and was the American dream. But sadly, that dream has slipped away due to rising costs driven by skilled labor shortage and material costs, and compounded by the industry's slow adoption to new technologies. As you can see here on the graph, rents have been rising much faster than incomes for decades. Average home prices are up more than 100% since 2000, while wages simply haven't kept up. Construction costs are up over 30% in the last 5 years, not including increases we're seeing now from the tariffs. The industry has been forced to use less skilled workers and inferior materials to lower costs, leading to a decline in the quality of housing. In just 10 years, the amount of people being able to afford a home has gone from 50% to 16%. This is a massive issue. And we have a solution. Has anyone seen a 3D printer? Probably the size of a desktop. Well, now scale that up to the size of a house. And that's what you have here, our patented 3D home printing machine. It works like a self-serve ice cream in the sense that it comes out the nozzle like that, except that it's concrete coming out. And geometric code, later referred to as G code, tells the machine where to go and what to print. So what differences does our solution provide? First off, we can provide a 20% savings for a wall system that far outperforms traditional building methods. Our houses are mold resistant, termite resistant, fire resistant, and hurricane and tornado resistant. And that's especially relevant recently. You look at California, there was one house left standing in Malibu. It was a concrete house. Same thing happened in Hawaii several years ago. There was only one house left standing and it was concrete. Granted, they were not 3D printed, but it's the same materials. So you can see the potential and the rigidity of these houses. Next, we can provide a 30% time savings versus standard construction methods. Time is money. And with our wall systems, we're removing framing, sheetrock, tape bed and texture, paint, and masonry, as well as insulation because of the thermal properties of the walls. So you don't have to have insulation as well. Next, precision construction practices reduce waste significantly. The combination of proper and precise planning while also using recycled materials and the long-term durability of our concrete will reduce landfills significantly over time. Lastly, 3D concrete housing reduces ownership costs. Our walls are more energy efficient, lowering bills. Also, the house is much more durable. So what's our competitive advantage? Starts with our partnership with All Metals Fabricating, which I own, is a world-class manufacturing facility shown here in the picture. This vertical integration gives us full control over production, cutting costs, and engineering on the printers we sell, demonstrated by the fact that our current model costs us $175,000. The most comparable one on the market is $1 million. Equally as important, through this partnership, we can scale up production to meet any amount of demand that there can be for 3D home printers. So All Metals has the capacity to crank out hundreds of these in a month, no problem. Next, combining our real estate experience along with data-driven insights and approach will allow us to streamline home construction nationwide. Printed has also inherited an expertise and efficiency and automation through our partnership with All Metals Fabricating, which we are bringing to construction. So what have we accomplished so far? In 2019, we commenced business. 2021, we built the seventh and eighth house in America. Since then, we've built 5 structures, including a house for $100,000 last year. We redesigned and built 2 of our second generation machines. We've achieved a top 10 worldwide rating for automate construction and a top 5 for 3D home printing. We developed an augmented reality app that allows people to plant any one of our model homes on coordinates and walk through that house, turn the house to meet whatever direction the sun's coming up, which position the house however they like it. We look to further develop this technology to train builders to use the machine, as well as trades for electrical and plumbing and such. We also completed a rebranding and launched a marketing campaign last fall. This year, we received our patents back on our design. We've developed $2.5 million in the sales pipeline as of just December when we started the sales pipeline. We've also invested $1.5 million to date. And recently, just this past month, we won 3D Printing Company of the Year by Construction Tech Review magazine. With all that said, all that we've accomplished, we feel very confident in raising a $1 million at a discounted rate of $8 million valuation, and then a second tranche at $2 million at a $15 million valuation to achieve the following. First, develop a proprietary software that will take a rendering, whether it be 2D or 3D from Architect, and generate the G code to control the machine. This will allow us to scale up quickly, allow builders to take any plans and input them into the software, and it automatically create the G code to run the machine, as well as give them a cost calculation to bid on the job. And equally as important, this creates a SaaS revenue stream for us as a technology company. Next, we will be investing in the third generation of our machine to develop a brick-style printhead, which will allow us to appeal to traditional architecture styles as opposed to the bead look now. It'll also allow us to more efficiently achieve a smooth wall finish, which is something that we're hearing a lot of customers want. We also will be developing a mini concrete mixing batch plant to go with the machine, which will greatly reduce the cost of materials for each job. Next, we're going to hire a dedicated R&D team to support ongoing innovation so that R&D is not slowed by our construction jobs, which we feel is critical as a technology company. Lastly, we will build additional machines to be able to take on large-scale development projects and have sufficient stock for sales. So here's some very conservative numbers. I honestly believe that the 2025 number is the most difficult one to achieve, just given the amount of time we're spending on fundraising, but 9 structures. So these revenue numbers are based on structures printed and machines sold. So 2025 would be 9 and 2, 2026, 40 and 8, 2027, 75 and 24, and 2028 would be 125 structures and 48 machines. Now, I will mention the market adoption by builders could exponentially increase this growth curve. And as I mentioned earlier, All Metals Fabricating would have no problem keeping up with the capacity. We'd have no limitations in producing as many units as the market could demand. And we plan on selling our machines for $400,000 with a cost basis of $175,000. And as I mentioned earlier, the most comparable option starts out around $1 million. So for example, in 2028, if we sold 100 machines instead of 48, that would boost our revenue by $20 million alone and boosts profitability substantially as well. So I want you to imagine this with me. I want you to imagine an entire community being built by 3D printers, 20, 30 printers out there, all printing at the same time, 2 people operating a machine. And what we call a house in a box showing up for every house, where it has everything you need for that house: doors, windows, appliances, HVAC, everything you need so the trades can get in and out. Then I want you to imagine a family like this moving in happily after just 3 months at an affordable price. And with this type of solution, we can change the trajectories of affordable housing. This is more than an investment. It's an opportunity to fix a broken system and transform the future of housing and construction. We have the technology, the expertise, and the urgency to make home ownership more accessible while building a high-growth, scalable business. The need is massive, and the time is now. Join us. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lance. Ron, do you have any questions for Lance? And if you have any questions out in the audience, please feel free to drop them in our webinar chat.
Hey, Lance, great presentation. I was hoping you're welcome. I was hoping if you can expand a little bit more on the relationship between Printed Technologies and Almos Manufacturing. Is that the name of your parent?
Yes, sir. All Metals. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
absolutely, yes. All Metals is a 50% equity holder in Printed Technologies. And so we're 50-50 with my co-founding partner, Craig Pettit. Does that answer your question? So we did the design and built the Gen 2 machine.
Okay, and how is that relationship with Printed? How are you sharing technology and resources and things of that nature?
So essentially, we have in-house engineering and manufacturing, and so given our partnership and our equity in that, Printed is still paying for the manufacturing and the design at a discounted rate for the design aspects of it. But basically is what it gives is, when you're a startup, getting into a contract manufacturer, getting their attention, being able to push product through is a great challenge. Plus you're going to pay, much higher prices. Because you're a startup, they're going to build in a lot of extra costs for them to take on a small job like that. So being able to have, a manufacturing company that can scale up with you as quickly as needed, and that company has equity in the business, it's essentially a vertical integration.
Okay, thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
We do have a question from the audience. Pedro asked, if your closet competitor charges more than 1 million, why are you pricing at just 400K? Also, what is your minimum check size? So
minimum investment size, we've said 50,000. We would be open to 25, but 50 is kind of where we've set the threshold. We want to have a price that grabs people's attention. Our machine is also a much simpler approach, and so we kind of want it to be I call it like the every builder's printer, where you're able to onboard much quicker. There are some pricing. There are some options available that are close in the 500,000 range. They're just not being used yet. So I want to be transparent about that. They're kind of no-name brands that are, have been around and just nobody's really adopted them yet. So when I say the best available option, it's not the only available option. It's just the best one that's available and comparable to our gantry style. But there's certainly room to go up. Yes, I agree with that. And we're not opposed to it.
Awesome. It seems like we're out of time, Lance. Thanks so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Hall T. Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.